All right, here we go. December by Collective Soul. Really, for this tune, a lot of it's going to revolve around this G chord. Okay? Where you're going to, again, the way I've played it and how I remember playing it from years ago, it's the full G. So you've got 3, 2, open, open, 3, 3. Okay? And you want to get a pretty good strat sound. You know, I've got the coil split on the Paul Reed Smith, so I just kind of use that. So if I split it with some distortion behind me and I can clean it up with the volume knob, works pretty well, right? But you know, whatever works for you. But really, the chord, as I mentioned, that G chord is going to be center for a lot of this. At least your fingers planted here. But there's also a bass line. And the bass line is really just a handful of notes. G, and again, off the sixth string. G, 3, 1, which is the F. 3 on the 5, 1 on the 5, and then just adding that second as a turnaround on the 5. So if you listen to the bass line, so that's kind of just, you know, again, you can make this song as easy as you want or as hard as you want, because there's a lot of different elements you can add into this. If you're just playing on the acoustic guitar, I mean, really, you can just strum, and I'll show you how to, you know, with different parts of the song, how just strumming will work too, okay? But what the strumming, or at least the picking pattern is for that riff, so what are we doing there? So let's hold this G chord, right? So the first bass note's going to be on that 6th string, 3rd fret, right? So it's that note, and we're going to go right down to the G string, to the B string. So it's, and then you come back up to the G. And you're gonna, I do it all the time still, and you're gonna clip that D string. The cool thing about that is it's not a wrong note, I guess. It'll still sound good, but if you want to do it clean, so it's gonna be, if I'm holding this chord right here, right, we're not gonna touch the 5th string at all. We're not gonna touch the 4th string or even the 3rd, or yeah, the 5th and the 4th. We're not gonna touch, but it's gonna be 3, 2, and 1, and the low E. So it's the low E, and then it's going to be 3, 2, 3. All right. So it's gonna. I'm just trying to, the easiest way to kind of walk you through this, but it's going to be your bass note, G string, B string, back to the G string, back to the B string, and then E string, B string, G string. Okay, so if you want to break this down into parts, again, the theory part of it, I'm probably not too strong on, so I don't want to tell you 8th notes, 16th notes. I'm not going to go there, but it's going to be, so if you want to break down the first 4 notes, your low E string, G string, B string, G string. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just go right back down to the B, and come back up on all 3 strings. E, B, G. So it's going to just take some time. It's kind of odd. Again, if you clip the D string, it's not the end of the world, but it really isn't part of that. And then all we're going to do now is, and for a good part of the song, we're just going to move the bass note. So I go from using my middle finger on 3 to using my index finger on 1. Middle finger on 3 for the 5th string, index finger on 1 and 2 of the 5th string as well. So if I play the whole riff, I'm going to try that one again. So when you get to the index finger on the 5th string here, 1st fret, the pattern's going to change just a little bit. Not that you're doing anything really different, you're just going to be omitting some of the notes now. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be your first fret on the 5. So it's the first 4 notes that we played in that rhythm, okay? So it's going to be your bass note, G, B, G. Okay? So let's do it all to that point again. And then you're going to walk down the bass note with 4 notes total. Your bass note 1 on 5, open G. Just walk that down to 2, open G, and then back to that pattern. Right? And that pattern for the most part is what you're hearing throughout most of the song. So that's going to be used for the intro, it's going to be used for the outro, it's going to be used for the verses. When you get into the chorus, what I've done, and I'm pretty sure this is pretty close, instead of arpeggiating it, you're just going to strum. So, right, we've been doing this, so it's going to be. So you want to kind of, I usually give it 2 8s. So it's 1, 2, 1, up, down, up. So same, as far as the root of all this here, you're still using the same bass notes and the progressions. Instead of arpeggiating it, we're just kind of strumming. Right? So that's kind of we've gone through the intro, we've gone through the verse, and you've got through the chorus here. And then you've got there's a couple of the pieces here, but going between the chorus and the verse, it's a fill. And again, this is where I go back saying you can make this as difficult or as easy as you want, depending on what you want to do. If you want to just strum with the acoustic guitar, I think for the most part, you've got most of the song already done. Because that's basically the bed for a lot of the other things that are happening here. One of the other fills here is. So just kind of, double stops basically as far as single notes for the most, or double notes for the most part. 4 times around, or 4 different patterns, and you go around twice after the first chorus, 4 times after the second chorus, right? So all I'm doing here is I'm barring on the 3rd fret B and E, and then I'm going to add my ring finger, or whatever finger is good for you, the high E string on the 5th fret. Okay? And I think there's an open G that's part of that riff. I can't ever really quite hear. So you can either do it. So I think that open E is kind of thrown in between each little section that we're adding here. And then we're going to go to, I'm going to fret it this way because we're going to have to use our pinky here. So it's going to be ring finger on 2 on the 3rd fret, index finger 1 on the 1st fret, and then we're going to be adding our pinky to the 3rd fret on the 1st string. And then that G string. So and then I'm going to use my index finger. I'm going to roll it up from here, index finger on 2nd string 1, open E string. And I'm going to be using, I guess, again, whatever finger you want, but it's going to be 3rd fret B string. And then throwing that G string at the very end of the riff, back to the 3rd fret, but I'm going to be on the B and the G. Oh, it's going to be a. So same thing, G and B on the 3rd fret, and I'm going to add my, again, whatever finger you want, but it's going to be 3rd fret on the 5th string, or excuse me, let's try that again. 5th fret on the 3rd string, G string. So all together. If I can get it. And I don't think that G string comes in, that open note comes in at the very last riff there. So it's going to be. So that's kind of that riff that you're going to be doing in between the chorus and the verse, right? So we do the chorus, we go right back into the goes back into the verse, and then kind of like that pre-chorus, or the chorus, I should say. Right? Keep doing that. We go back to this passage right here. I'm gonna go. I think it's 4 times on that one, I believe. There's no solo, but what it goes into is a bit of a break, the bridge, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be, again, based on that G, then throwing in the F bass, and then throwing in the C. But that's going to be all we're doing with the chords. So it's going to be, and it's going to be, I guess they're 8 counts. 4 and 4 for each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what happens after there? It's going to be just G string, 3rd fret, I believe. Okay? So it's a single note. I believe there's a bend in there. You can make it a bend. You can do what you want. But it's going to sound like this. So you can give it a slight bend, I think. Maybe, maybe not. But it's going to be starting on the G string 3rd fret. And the key is coming off on the open G. And then right back into the riff. Right? And that's kind of... You've got the song there, basically. So I think the outro is going to be more of, as you get towards the end of the song, the last chorus, I guess it is. So just listen to it. It's going to just repeat itself. And then at the very end, you end it like you started it. And for the most part, I think it's most of the song right there. I'm not going to say it's 100% accurate, but I think, like I said, you can make it as hard as you want, as easy as you want. If you want to just strum it, you've got all the chords there. You don't even have to pick. But we've got everything. And I would say the key there is be very light with the picking, too, no matter what you've got going on. Even if you don't have the coils, even if it's a heavier sound you got with humbuckers, instead of very lightly, just remember, pick, volume, best friends when you want to try to work on your tone. As cool as that pedals, sometimes you don't need them at all. Again, I'm just kind of going in through this to a PV 212 with some gain, and I'm adjusting everything else through here. Okay. So, great song. I wish I'd done it sooner, but I'm glad I did it now. So enjoy. Any questions, let me know. There's definitely more Collective Soul coming in the near future. Thanks. Okay, everyone, good to see you again. Thanks for checking the channel out, checking the video out. Really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Also, check out the website, sixstringfun.com. I'm going to revisit a song I did probably close to a year ago. I feel like I kind of rushed it. I really didn't give it the full treatment it should have gotten. Not that I'm going to do anything really more elaborate with it. I should say, but truly I'm going to do it on the acoustic guitar. It's Candlebox Far Behind. When I did it last time, I was kind of just running through saying, hey, here's the acoustic version I do, but I did it on the electric guitar. So it didn't really make sense, I guess. So I wanted to just break it down, quickly on the acoustic guitar. Again, the album, Candlebox by Candlebox for Far Behind, came out in '93, just an incredible album when I was in college. I still think maybe one of the more underrated bands out there. I know it was post-grunge, whatever you want to call it, and I had the chance to see them open for Rush 3 times. Rush was on the Counterparts tour in '93. So to see them open 3 times, for me, it was really a treat, so I enjoyed that. Really great tune, Far Behind. I've seen this kind of done just through other YouTube videos by watching the band and like doing, radio appearances in the studio. They would kind of do an acoustic version of this. So for the most part, I think this is how they've done it. I think there's other embellishments that I don't really do because, with one guitar, you can only do so much. So there's no solo, but we'll keep the chords kind of, for the most part, the same, but we'll just change them up a little bit more as far as just the strumming pattern, but it's there. So if you like the song and you want to learn how to play it, it's there. So hopefully you enjoy this, all right? Again, Candlebox Far Behind. So for this tune, we're going to keep the same key as the album, off of the album Candlebox for Far Behind. The key riff in this song on the album is the single notes here. Right? But we're not going to do it on the acoustic guitar. If you're playing solo, it's kind of tough to pull that off. So we're going to kind of just go right into our first chord, which is a G chord. All right? And we're going to use the same, right, that slide we would do there, but we're going to use the full chord. So what I'm doing is I'm playing the chord, and I'm sliding in. So if I'm on the G chord here, right, 3rd fret is where basically where I'm anchored. I'm going to slide it into the 5th and back. So you slide the whole chord, but I'm really emphasizing these 2 strings right here, the E and the B, with these 2 fingers. Okay? And the strumming pattern I use for that is, and I tend to catch those strings coming up with the slide, and then back. So it's kind of like, so I'm kind of hitting that 6th string there just for that bass note. All right. And from there I'm going into an E minor. But what I'm doing is I am keeping my fingers here on the 3rd fret of the B and the E string, and I'm using these 2 fingers, which I typically don't. I typically play my E minor like this. But I'm going to change it up because I've got these fingers here. I'm going to use these 2 to fret my E minor. Because I still like having those 2 notes here in the progression. So it's going to be. So I change up the strumming pattern a little bit. Hear what I'm doing there? Again, all together. To the D, regular D. To the C add 9. So all together. E minor. I don't know what you're calling it with these 2 notes in here. I know if I had just that, like an E minor 7, but with that G in there, I don't know exactly what kind of E minor is, but an E minor basically. E minor to the D, C add 9, and then what you can do is with that C add 9, like they do on the album, they kind of every time it comes around to that C add 9, it's a little bit different. Sometimes it just you can strum it. Sometimes you're picking single notes on the high string, or you can kind of just walk down the bass note. So, for example, the D. Try this, right? Or So you can do either one of those, make it your own, basically. Right, so you kind of make it your own. If you know the tune, you can kind of just figure out the rhythm at that point. If not, listen to the song. But the rhythm is pretty much the same as the album version for the most part. And that's going to be your intro, your verse, and then the chorus is actually the same notes, but I play it differently just for dynamic purposes. So if this is what we're doing for, I showed you what to do for the verse. Now for the chorus, I'm just going to play the chords. So again, straight up G. Okay, just a full E minor, just a regular E minor, right? No pinky or ring finger on those bottom note or top notes, I should say. Right to my D, and just to change it up, I play a full C. And one of the keys I see for this is actually the turnaround of having like a walk down. So see how I kind of went from the C to the B bass note. So that walk down is kind of like just like a turnaround, key turnaround. And that what I'll do is also on that turnaround, my pinky is going to sometimes hit that G note on the East high E while I go to that B note. So that my C is going to go from a regular open C. Then my pinky is going to come down and catch that note there, and then I just change my bass note. That's all. Right back to the G. And that in a nutshell is this version of that song. Now, if you know the song, there's also the kind of coming out of the solo, I guess. Now the solo itself, again, regular, it's the verse, but coming out of the solo, there's that bridge, I guess. I wouldn't suggest doing it in this version, but you can if you want. And all that is if you know that Hendrix chord, that E9. That's really it. You can do it, but I think for this purpose, of this video, we're kind of keeping it simple. But that's how I play it. That's how I've played it. I will say this is probably one of the songs I wish I had played in any of my bands, on the acoustic guitar. I think it really lends itself good to that, but it wasn't to be. So maybe one day we'll break it out. But that's this tune. Far Behind by Candlebox, kind of my little version mixed in with versions that I've seen them do when they're like at a radio station, kind of playing live, on different shows, I guess. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, like, subscribe, hit the bell, check out the website. I really do appreciate it. I will see you on the next video. Thanks very much. Everyone, good to see you again. Thanks for checking the channel out and checking this video out. Really do appreciate it. Gonna stay into that 90s era that I've been on a little bit here. So, great tune. Everyone, I think, kind of knows this tune. At least, if you don't like it, you've heard it at least, quite a bit. Gin Blossoms, Hey Jealousy. This was probably one of the first tunes I learned 15 years ago when I really started getting into, playing with bands. My first band, Really Deep in the Pocket, this was a staple. We played almost every night. It was really good. So it's kind of stayed with me the whole way here, and in different bands, different things I've been doing, it always seems to pop up. And I'm part of an acoustic kind of project right now, and this has definitely been a favorite of ours to play for us as well as for the folks out there. So I can definitely see it staying, in the main set for quite a while. But I wanted to walk you through how I do it on the acoustic guitar here. It's really straightforward. You know, your chords are a D, E, F sharp minor, you know, back to the E, and then the chorus is an A and the D, and then back and forth there, and then back to the F sharp minor and the E, and I'm going to walk you through that as well. And then what I'm also going to do is at the very end, I'm going to pick up the electric, and I'm going to walk you through one or two pieces of the tune that I know always gave me problems, and I can never really figure out how to do it. So I'm going to play that for you on the electric guitar, but it's that riff that's played, I guess, underneath the chorus. You know, with where maybe I could play it right for you. I'll walk you through how to play that. It's really pretty simple once you understand it. You're playing octaves, you know, across a couple sets of strings. And once you can understand that, that's probably the hardest part of the tune, actually. So the solo is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go over that, but it's really kind of just, if you're going to jam in the F sharp minor box, you can do that and come around here to the 9th and 11th fret for the most part. But you know, that's for a different lesson if that. But let me walk you through how I do this on the acoustic guitar, and we'll go from there. All right, so we're going to take a closer look at this tune, Hey Jealousy by Gin Blossoms. Just the acoustic version that I've kind of put together. So no solo, but I will, if you stick around at the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through how I play that riff that's played under the chorus. And hopefully that'll help you out too if you're looking to, you know, find that info as well. But the song, again, pretty simple for the most part, except for one bar chord, the F sharp minor. But it's an A, excuse me, D, A. There's an E in there, the F sharp minor, and that's really it for the chords that you're using. And there's, like I said, one riff, the first riff what kind of kicks off the song. It's more of a bass riff, I think. It's just going to be everything on the low E string, your 6th string. Your 7, 9, back to 7, open. Again, so it's 7, 9, 7, open. So one more time. Right, and then right from there it goes right into a D chord. And all that is a D to an E to your F sharp minor, back to the E. Okay, so it's that just repeats the intro and the verse. It just kind of repeats over and over again. So and then you go right to the chorus. The chorus is you're going to introduce the A chord now. Your A to the D. Play those same 2 chords again. All right, and then you're going to go to the F sharp minor, to your E, to the D, and you hold it. Hey, jealousy, and it goes right back into to the verse. And if you really want to, if you're getting comfortable with it, every time you're playing that, I guess when it's not the verse but more of just kind of fill, go back to that riff. So it's. That's up to you, but that's basically your intro, your verse, and your chorus. There's a guitar solo, but I think the guitar solo is just kind of played over the verse pattern. All right. When you come out of the guitar solo, you're going right back into the chorus, which is the A. There it is. There's your song. That's basically it. All this just keeps repeating at different times. So you got to listen to the tune if you don't know it yet, just to know where your timing is, how you're doing certain things. You know, again, that intro riff. You're only going to play that a handful of times. The only other thing I suggest, I mean, just if you want to kind of get certain areas of the tune that are significant or signature, I should say, at the very, very end, when it's all kind of going back and forth, the last chord is a D, and that rings out. But what they're doing on the album version is basically they're playing a bar chord, I think, a power chord. And then when you hear that final note ring out, it's just a D note on the 5th string, 5th fret. So if you're looking for some of those signature sounds, that's one of them right there, right? So it's 5th string, 5th fret. That's all that really is. So that is your tune right there for the most part. And what I will do also, I mentioned to you, we're going to switch guitars. I'm going to show you the riff that I think... I'm going to move to the electric guitar on that one, just to kind of give you an idea how that looks on the electric. It's actually a little bit easier to play just with the string gauges, I think. But let's make that change to electric guitar now. Take a look at it. Hopefully it helps you out as well. Okay, so we just kind of went over the song as far as just an acoustic version of the song. I want to take you through just one section of the tune here, as far as just this riff that is played under the chorus. So the chorus is like... right? But what's being played underneath that is it's all octaves, okay? And what I'm doing here is I'm going to show you where I'm starting here. So I am on, index finger is on the 4th string of the 9th fret, 7th fret, excuse me, right there, okay? I'm then going to take my pinky, I'm going down to the B string, and I'm going to be on the B string 10th fret. So all you're doing is playing octaves. So you want to mute the G string. If you're playing the G string, it's not going to sound right. Okay, we don't want that. So all we're doing is playing 2 strings: the D string 7th fret and the B string 10th fret. Okay, those are octaves. Those are A notes. Okay. So that's kind of what we're doing there. So let's take a look at this again. It's going to be D string and the B string. All right. And all you're going to do is we are just going to start sliding up the neck. And we're going to go from that, we're moving up just 1/2 step. Okay? And then now use your pinky as a guide. Remember, you have to be 2 frets apart the whole time here, okay? Nothing's changing strings at this point yet. So it's just 1/2 step. Okay? And then at this point, your pinky will be on a fret that has an inlay on it, okay? Right there. Up a whole step there. Up 1 more whole step. Right there. So, okay, so we're starting on the 7th fret. Up 1 fret. Up 2 frets. Up another 2 frets. So, okay. Oops. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go down. We're going to strum. Back down 2 frets, okay? That's what we're doing, okay? One strum, and we move down 2 frets from 2 to 4. Now we're gonna shift strings. We're going up 1 set of strings, okay? So now I'm going up into this position. So now I'm on the 5th string, 5th fret, and I am an octave below here on the G string 7th fret. Okay, so I'm going to play this. It's kind of tough. I'm going to play it all together. 1 strum, back down. All I'm doing is playing it, my root here on the 5th. 1 half step up. Okay, see that? So really, when I'm up on these strings now, it's just going to be back to our original position. Slide down 2 fret. All right, right there. All right, one more time through and I think you'll get it. So again, I'm going to be on the 7th fret, 4th string, 7th fret, 10th string, 10th fret, B string. Up a half step. 2 frets there. Another 2 frets. Strum it, and we're going to just slide down a whole step. We shift strings. Back down to our original strings. So the way this all works is that for this riff where you're starting, you're going to end there as well. And the entire riff, all you're doing is playing octaves. That's it. That's just the entire riff. So it's always going to be a string, skip a string, another string. Okay. When you have the B string included here, though, the way these octaves work is that you're going to be 2 frets apart instead of just, say, you know, up here. Okay. One more time. Let's try that again. Agency. And then if you're playing with 2 guitars, you can beef it up more. You go with the power chords. There you go. Hopefully it helped you out on that part too.